Today I want to talk to you about a wood destroying insect. Not your typical one. We're not talking about termites or carpenter ants. We're talking about carpenter bees. As you can see, I'm standing under a pergola. And carpenter bees are an interesting little creature. They're much like a regular bee, only they tunnel through wood to nest in it. They actually don't eat it. They just tunnel out the wood and make nests in it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is a sign of carpenter bee infestation. You see this hole right here? And it's just perfectly round. And if we follow it, we can see another one here, another one here, and one here. As we go down, we have many, many more. Here's another one here on the side. Actually, that might be a knot. It's kind of hard to tell the difference sometimes, but these holes are perfectly round, such as this one. I counted about 10 holes on this structure. And while I cannot locate a live bee right now, I can't guarantee whether or not we have a past or an active infestation. But you can see with them drilling these holes and the way they drill up and then into the wood, over time, they can really cause some damage to a structure. There are various ways to treat for carpenter bees, and if you have an infestation, I suggest talking to a local pest control company about your options. Remember when I said I didn't know if we had an active infestation? Well, it turns out we do. You see this carpenter bee right here? Fixing to go boop right back in his hole. And then here, I think I got him taken off. Yeah, we definitely have an active infestation on this pergola. Taking a look at a pool. Let me show you something real quick. This right here is the skimmer. And what I want to point out to you is that we have what looks like an upheaval. You see the deck has lifted up slightly at this point, but it's lifted up from where the coping is. That makes me believe that there's probably a crack inside this skimmer housing. It's a common thing to find. Let me open it up and show you what's going on in there. All right, as you can see, we have a significant crack right here, actually several cracks in this housing. And what's happening is water is seeping into those cracks, getting underneath this deck and causing it to uplift or upheave. It's what we call an upheaval. This needs to be fixed because the problem will continue to get worse and this deck will continue to rise. And obviously a pool leak of any kind isn't a good thing, and so we want to get this taken care of so that we can keep the water in the pool where it belongs. Check it out. You forgot something. You forgot to put insulation up here. This is the living space. No insulation. Wall insulation. No insulation on the attic floor. Here's the other attic access. Look at this. We got insulation. That means, no, I wasn't here too early. They missed it. They forgot to put insulation over that area. Here's the difference with the thermal camera. Check this out. You can see we got about 73.9, about 74 degrees. There's an attic access right upstairs over there. That's the one we were in just a second ago. And the other part of the attic we were looking with no insulation, you can see is 82 degrees. Not good. I'm inspecting a new construction house and I'm finding a few things that are maybe not red flags, but they're not up to current standards or current codes. So check out what I'm finding. For starters, this stairway handrail here should be completely continuous all the way down the stairway, and also the end should turn into the wall and terminate to the wall. The disconnect for this AC condenser should not be behind the unit. It should be to the side and easily accessible. And while we're over here, let's talk about the lack of clearance between the fiber cement board and the finished grade. The James Hardy instruction manual recommends 6 inches of clearance between the lap boards and the finished grade. We don't even have 1. What we do have is an easy access point for insects and moisture. Also, fiber cement board is supposed to be 1 inch off the slab, and you can see we don't have that at this back porch either. More of the same along the back. This just seems unnecessary. I don't know why the siding is put so low to the ground. As we look up here, we see the AC secondary drain line, and for whatever reason, they terminated it through the gutter. So now the gutter is pretty much useless. Now let's take a look at this flashing above the trim on these windows on the front of the house. This is an excellent detail, and it absolutely should be there. As we get along on the side of the house, though, they put the flashing above the window and not above the trim. And I don't really understand the inconsistencies in installing this flashing, but this isn't done correctly. Also, take notice of the random nail patterns that seem to exist. Now, while some of the things that I'm showing you in this video may not be detrimental to the home, it makes you question why the builder did not follow current codes and standards when they were building this house, and it makes you wonder what you can't see. It's hard to even know where to start with this panel, and I haven't even taken the cover off yet. Check it out. So the house is very old, but this panel is not very old. Clearly not the age of the house. First thing is, we don't have any labeling whatsoever. We've got a blank space here, so that definitely needs to be covered. And we have this Romex just wired directly into the box down to this outlet. We got no conduit or anything. This, by the way, is hot and not GFCI protected. Yeah, that's not a good situation at all. We have not one single screw holding on this panel. Instead, they've bent this tab up to wedge the panel on, and so that's supposed to be on the inside with screws holding on. Anyway, what a mess. I'm hoping it looks better on the inside than it does on the outside, but my expectation is not very high.
But before we can get in it, I have to bend down this tab.
The inside of the panel turned out to be not quite as bad as I thought. Of course, nothing's labeled, so I don't really know what they do, but this may or may not be wrong. We have a 30 amp breaker with 12 gauge wire. Like I say, depending on what that's connected to, that could be wrong. Then we've got, this is definitely wrong, but this actually has to do with this whole nightmare here. But we have 12 gauge wire to this 40 amp breaker. This just needs to come out. That doesn't need to be there at all. But other than that, I mean, really, it's kind of a mess, but things are in pretty decent shape. And here's the real funny part. Here are the screws. One more thing. We got a double tap going on here. We got two wires connected to one breaker. Some square D breakers are designed to have two wires. This one is not. For all those people that want me to fix stuff, I put the screws back. So I actually improved it. New construction home inspection today. I actually inspected this house at its framing stage a while back, but we're here at the final, and I got some things I want to show you. Check it out. The first thing is the flashing above this garage door. I'm going to take you in for a closer look. I like that we have this flashing here. However, all the protruding trim should have flashing over it. I wish that we had flashing right over the top piece of trim there. But the real problem that I have is that they sealed this flashing to the trim. So now it's not going to do anything to shed any water. There should be a gap between that piece of siding there and the flashing, and we should be able to shed water out and over that flashing. And with that sealant there, it's not going to do its job, and that piece of wood is going to rot out. We've done the same thing over some windows. Check this out. Same situation over this window. They get here, you can see that they have sealed the flashing to the frame. It's just not going to do its job that way. And one more thing. We have an exposed anchor strap right in here. You can see this anchor strap here needs to be sealed up. This is an area where insects can get in, rodents can get in, but also that strap will eventually rust. And so we'd like to see that get all sealed up. Same house, inside now, last thing. Somebody, please, for the love of God, change this air filter. I'm looking at a house right now, a new house with stucco exterior here. Now, it's important for you to know that stucco and moisture are mortal enemies, okay? It's very important to keep moisture out of your stucco. So everything really needs to be flashed and sealed properly. And everything looked pretty good until I got over here to these windows. Now check this out. These three windows, I'm up here on this upper section here. These three windows didn't get any sealant around them at all, not anywhere. And that's going around all three of them. Some areas are wider than others. Yeah, it's not quite as wide. It's got stucco in there, but that's certainly not going to keep moisture out. And I can't see, the crack's not big enough between the window frame and the stucco exterior here for me to see if it is properly flashed in there or not. But it sure doesn't look like it. And I know we haven't done anything to seal it. Stucco is just not a great choice for exterior in my area. We get entirely too much moisture in the form of rain or humidity. And if this hasn't been taken care of like perfectly on the inside of this wall, it's going to leak. And honestly, if it hasn't been taken care of on the outside, I don't trust that it's been taken care of on the inside either. Those are the windows we were just looking at, and here are some other ones, and you can see that these actually have been sealed. This is what it's supposed to look like. Sealant all the way around. Up here on this hot black roof, check this out. Talking about exhaust fans. Okay, so we got two of them right here. These are bathroom exhaust fans. I reach down here and I can feel the exhaust coming out because I turned them all on, right? Feel this one, that exhaust coming out. Okay, we got two right next to each other. This usually indicates it's a laundry room because we got one be the dryer vent termination and one the exhaust fan, but we'll come back to those. These are the master bathroom. Let's go feel them, make sure they're working. Good to go. And one more, good to go. Okay, let's go back to those. I wish you could feel this. We have exhaust coming out of this one. We do not have exhaust coming out of this one, so this generally means that this would be the dryer vent termination. And it probably is, which we'll verify, but the problem I have with it is it has a screen on it. A screen dryer vent termination is a fire hazard because that screen is going to collect lint and not let it get to the outside. This has a damper that opens when the machine's on and closes when it's off. So there's no need to have the screen on there. It creates more of a hazard than it does prevent anything. First indication that you have a problem with something like this is going to be your dryer not working very well. Once this gets clogged up with lint, your dryer's not going to work very good. The second thing is house fire, because dryer lint is very flammable. Interestingly enough, these things are labeled. Let's see if we can see it here without damaging anything. Remove screen for dryer. I've got a whole YouTube on that. Comment fire and I'll send it to you. Yep, there they are, right next to each other, just like I thought. I'm here in the garage on this property, and we have this panel on the exterior garage wall. I think I know what's back there, but I'm gonna unscrew it and let's see what we got. This is the main water shutoff valve for the house. And like I said, it was behind this panel that was screwed to the wall. This is something that you're gonna want accessible at all times. The last thing you're gonna wanna do is fumble around for a screwdriver and try to remove 4 screws from this panel so that you can remove it to shut off the water in the event of an emergency. Here they go again, power washing the garage. We're not even making an attempt to protect the drywall. Every time they do this, I find moisture intrusion at the bottom plate. Their only method of protecting the drywall or anything from getting wet is to not aim at it. That's all. That's the only thing that they do. And let me tell you, it's not very effective. All right, he's done with the power washer, so let me show you what I'm talking about. This is on the house next door, the one I'm inspecting, but look at this. You can see the garage floor is wet, okay? You can see how it kind of got up on the drywall, but here, look at this. Yep, definitely getting into the bottom of the door, okay? Let's go check this out. Come around here. See here. This should be about where the garage starts. Let's look right here. Look at all that moisture that is in the carpet now, underneath the carpet. They'll tell you that they're going to build you a house that'll keep air and water and bugs out of it, and then they'll just blow water right back in it. I'm up here in an attic from, I think, the year 97. Anyway, check out what I'm finding. This right here is the dryer duct, and as you can see, it's not sealed to the roof decking here, and also because of that, it is spilling a ton of lint back into the attic space, and you can see it's all over the insulation here. Now there's going to be some people on here that think they're funny, and they're going to say, hey, that's just adding insulation. And let me tell you, the insulation is very lacking here. Let me show it to you. I think we have maybe 1 or 2 inches of compressed loose fill insulation over here. But that dryer lint, yeah, it's not the same stuff. No, it's very flammable. Where insulation is not. I have a whole YouTube video on that. Here's another thing about all this dryer lint being over here. This flammable dryer lint is very, very close to the gas-fired furnace and water heaters. And this all adds up to it's not supposed to do that.